It's us.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Jamie Woods back at it for another motivational. It's Monday, right? I almost forgot what day it was. Motivational Monday live stream, guys. My days are going by so quickly, I'm losing track of what the hell's going on in my life right now, man. Your boys has been hard at work. I stream almost every day now, all right? And of course, I make so much content, so much videos. It's insane. So I lose track of days sometimes. Like my life sometimes feels like a giant blur at this very moment. That's how much I'm busy. But guys, your boy's here. And this time on a Monday, because last week I did it on a Wednesday. That was only because there was a couple scheduling conflicts and stuff that happened. So of course your boy had to reschedule. But this week I was like, no, I got to do it on a Monday. It needs to happen on a Monday. Monday is my day. Okay. All right. This is the day where I do a live stream. So I'm like, man, I got to do a live from today. No more of this rescheduling shit. No. Monday, it's going to happen, okay? And I have a good one for you guys. I have a big hitter, a heavy hitter today. As of recent, I've noticed I've been shifting and kind of leaning more towards the travel side because I'm so passionate about traveling. It's something I'm extremely passionate about, and I wish I could do full time. Like, if I could do this shit full time, guys, if someone were to go up to me right now and told me, hey, man, I'll pay you 60 grand a year. I'll pay you 100 grand a year to travel all year. For the most part, I'd probably do it. Of course, I need to be home. I need to be back in America, the good old America. You know, we're going to get to America later on, but I want to be home. I want to be with family. And that's the thing when you're traveling that people don't take into consideration. A lot of people romanticize like living overseas. And, you know, I'm one of those people. I'm not going to lie. I do romanticize it. Like, there's a part of me that really does want to do that. Like, I really want to move to a city. And of course, some of these cities I'm going to be mentioning in this particular first volume of this series. Of course, some of these cities I would live in. And of course, I will tell you which specific cities I will live in, of course. But at the same time, man, there's a part of me that loves being here. You know, and where I'm at right now with my family. I feel like without my family, it would be a little bit weird, you know? Like, I would just have to FaceTime and call them every day, and I don't know if that's good enough. Sometimes you want to be around family. You want to have dinners with your family. And that's the thing about being home is that, you know, you don't get that anywhere. If I were to move to any other country, any other city, it'd be an issue. I'd have to take a flight. I would have to, you know, it's a whole drag. At least here, all I got to do is do a little drive or whatever it is, and I'll see my family, you know. So family is very important to me. That's something some people have to take into consideration before they move. Because I've seen a lot of people move to a different country, and then they, you know, even though they like it there, they love the fact they live in a different country, they kind of get homesick, and primarily that's because of family. That's the main thing is family. So that's one thing to consider before you're moving outside the country is, can you live without family for a very long time? Can you do that? Are you okay with seeing family once or twice, 3, 4, 5 times max a year, maybe, if you got that type of money to be flying back and forth? Can you do that? And that's something you have to ask yourself before you do move. All right, but that's besides the point. That's actually a different video for a different day. Today, we're going to be talking about the best cities that I've been to, okay? These aren't the best cities in the world because I haven't been to every single city in the world, okay? And on top of that, guys, this is very subjective. You know what I mean? This is only from my own experience and my own lens and my perspective. This doesn't mean that any of these cities are worse than the other. They're not good. Or if I did leave out some cities, it doesn't mean that those cities aren't good. Because I've been to plenty of many different cities, and I could literally go over every single one of them, but I decided to kind of rank this down to just 10 or 20 of them for now. Of course, I'm not going to be going over every single city, the 10 and the 20 that I have in my mind right now. I'm just going over 5 cities, 5 specific cities in this particular volume, and I'll split it up that way. So volume 2, we'll go over another 5, and then volume 3, another 5. And then by the time I probably make volume 4, volume 5, I probably already traveled like 2-3 times already. So I can add another couple cities to that list. So that is what my plan is for this particular series. I just wanted to do a travel series, something to do with traveling, because as I stated, I'm leaning more towards traveling right now. I really do like the travel motivational type of stuff, like the against all odds shit. You know, as much as I do like dating, I do like talking about dating. It is a thing of mine that I'm very passionate about as well. But I feel like as a dating, I wouldn't even call myself a dating coach because I'm not a dating coach, even though some people might label me a dating coach. But I view myself more as I know it sounds a little bit corny, but a dating enthusiast, a dating psychologist, or something along those lines. I just love learning about how the human mind works and what it is that causes someone to be attracted to the other and vice versa, right? So that's the thing with me is I love talking about this, but at the same time I feel like it gets repetitive sometimes. It's like you can only talk about the same thing over and over before it gets repetitive. And on top of it, it does get controversial. And nowadays, in this era that we live in, if you say the sky is blue, someone's gonna be like, "No, the sky is green. How dare you?" And they start trying to cancel you and shit. With traveling, there's no such thing. Like, sure, there's gonna be people that are, "Oh, I can't believe you said this about this city." But it's not as crazy as saying, "Oh, women are hypergamous," or any of that type of stuff, right? People get offended as soon as they hear that type of shit. So it's more relieving for me to talk about traveling, where it's kind of like, you can speak as freely as you want for the most part, and people be like, okay, all right, I can see that. You can have discussions about it, maybe little debates. It's not like dating where you say one thing and people want to cut your fucking throat for it. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit more relaxed talking about traveling and that type of stuff. So I've been leaning more towards that, but of course, dating will always be there. That will always be a large aspect of this channel. That's the reason why I started this channel, and it'll always continue. Okay. So, anyways, guys, I just want to, talk a little bit before I get into it. But let me stop because this presentation could be very long, so I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to make this presentation a little over an hour, just a bit over an hour. I don't want to make it more than that, which is why I just bumped it down to 5 cities. In fact, I should have just broke it down to 3 cities. But I was like, nope, I'll do 5. But next time I might just do 3, to be honest. What's good, guys? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome. But guys, let's get it popping. But before I get to that, actually, guys, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that red button that says subscribe on it. It's free of charge. No one's going to charge you any money. None of that. Hit that subscribe button. Another thing I want you guys to do is hit the like button. Hit the like button so that way the algorithm can be able to pick up this live stream, this broadcast, this video, so that way it can go out to more people, so more people can hear about this, because I'm sure there's a lot of travel people that love to hear about traveling, or maybe they're planning on a vacation. They're not sure where to go, and they want to hear it from a person that's been to these places. So this will help out a lot of different people, or well, I hope it does. But make sure you like this broadcast, you like this video. Another thing I want you guys to do is share, or at the same time, comment. I want to hear from you guys. Comment, please. I encourage you guys to comment. As long as it's being done in a respectful and mature manner, I don't care. Even if it's criticism, right? Constructive criticism. As long as it's constructive criticism and it's something that's coming from a good place to improve me and my content, I'm not going to do, I can't be mad about that. However, you do have some trolls and some a-holes around here that they'll say the only shit to get your blood boiling because it makes their day, right? You have those losers that think that way. And to those losers, I'll continue to tell you guys this every single live stream so you guys can know this, all right? When you guys put those troll comments and all that dumb shit in the comment section, you know what's going to happen? The main thing that's going to happen is you're wasting your time. That's number one. You're completely wasting your time. A lot of you guys spend minutes on top of minutes, maybe even an hour, thinking about some clever shit to get my blood boiling. And I want to tell you guys this. You don't get my blood boiling. I don't get angry. I don't get upset. I don't get annoyed at your shit. You want to know what happens? I'm taking a shit. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking a shit for the most part. That's when I really read the comments. I'm taking a dump. And what I'm doing is I'm going through your comments, right? And I look at it, I laugh at it, and I delete it. All right? I'm going to make a t-shirt about that. I look at it, I laugh at it, and I delete it. Okay? So I look at it, I laugh at it, and then I delete that motherfucker. So you wasting your time trying to come on my shit, trying to hate and troll. Okay? Because I don't accept that shit. That shit is unacceptable. All right? So anyways, just thought I'll let you guys know that and remind you that because I don't play with that shit. I'm cutthroat when it comes to trolls and losers in my comment section, my streams, wherever it is. I don't care what platform is on. All right, I'm cutthroat. All right, you're blocked. You're out. You're done. All right, 1 strike and you're out, bro. I don't play that 3 strike shit. 1 strike and you're out, bro. I don't play that shit. All right. Anyways, guys, just thought I would give you guys a warning, let you guys know to subscribe and all that and support. Let's get it popping, guys. Let's go. All right, best places I've ever visited in the world. Okay, so this is everywhere, including America. In fact, we're starting off with America. That is New York City. Okay, the Big Apple. Okay, we're talking the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. Those are a couple of nicknames that, you know, are thrown upon New York City, right? The city where dreams are made of, type of stuff, you know. And I do agree. And I think New York City deserved to be the first city I mentioned in this series because it's just something. It's hard for me to put words to it. It's just a very epic city, very epic. I live right next to New York City. Actually, I'm in the tri-state area. I'm across the bridge from New York City. You know what I mean? So I'm right there. I can see the New York City skyline from my crib. Okay, I can see the bridge from my fucking apartment. I love New York City. I'm always really there for the most part. So let's talk about New York City very briefly. I'm not going to go too much over it because for time's sake, guys, okay? So let's go over it. All right. So the Big Apple had to be mentioned first on my list as it is a very iconic and stunning city. It is very hard not to get inspired by this city. There's so much to do and see here. So the first time I've ever seen New York City, I'll never forget it. I was very small, very young. And I remember going to New York City. And I remember seeing New York City for the very first time. And my jaw, even as a little kid, I knew something was very special about that city. My jaw was dropped on the floor. I was like looking up the entire time, like to the point where taxis almost hit me because I'm looking up the entire time and I'm not looking forward or to my sides or anything. And that's what type of city New York City is. I remember I was in Penn Station. Okay, so if you live in Jersey like myself, right? You take the train to Penn Station. You go into Penn Station. Now, Penn Station, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's dirty. It's nasty. It's not my favorite train station. But it holds a special place in my heart because it's the gateway to New York City. As soon as you get out of there, you see the city, right? So I remember going up that escalator, and I start to hear the taxi. Excuse me. I start to hear the taxis and the horns and all that. People always beeping at each other in New York City, you know? All the movement, just New York City is different, man. It's just a different. You get that New York City air hitting you and shit, you know. And you go out there and you finally see those big buildings, and you're like, wow. It's the only city that's ever done that to me. I've been to many cities, but the difference between New York City and every other city is that New York City is just all it is a bunch of freaking skyscrapers, and a bunch of different big ass buildings. It was almost like the people back in the early 1900s, 1800s, whenever New York City was first being designed and built. It was almost like they were like, yeah, America. We got to be number one. We got to make the most craziest city. We got to make a city on steroids. And that's what they did. That's what New York City is. New York City is a city on steroids. It's like every building's got to be tall. Everything's got to be big. Everything's just bigger and better in New York City. I don't know what it is. Well, not always better. We're going to get to that, but bigger. It's always big. I don't know what it is about that damn city, man. They made that shit to be the most craziest city in the world. And I really do think that New York City is the craziest city in the world because it's just the possibilities in New York City. And I've been around the world, guys. The possibilities in New York City are endless. I know people that have been living in New York City. I've been living next to New York City all my life for the most part. And there's still a bunch of new shit I haven't even done yet. In fact, you guys can tell, like, there's still so much, guys, that I'm still uninformed about when it comes to New York City. Because there's a city that's always growing, and there's always new shit being built and done, and new neighborhoods, and there's a bunch of new shit, guys. I don't know everything about New York City, and I've been living next to it for so many damn years. There's just so much going on in that city, you know? And depending on what borough you go to, it's a different taste. Manhattan, of course, is the one everyone thinks about when they think about New York City. Of course, Empire State Building, we're going to talk about that later. Chrysler Building, Central Park, all that, right? All those big landmarks and places are in Manhattan. Then you have Brooklyn with the Brooklyn Bridge connecting it and all that, right? Brooklyn, which is one of the more hippier, boroughs, because it's split up by different boroughs. Of course, Brooklyn being one of the more popular ones. The Brooklyn's kind of like the one that everyone wants to be a part of. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn, people from Brooklyn take great pride in being from Brooklyn compared to any other borough. I feel like everyone flocks to either Manhattan or Brooklyn. Brooklyn's extremely popular. I remember staying in Brooklyn a couple years ago. I stayed in Brooklyn. I forgot what area was in Brooklyn. That's how big New York is. New York has so many different areas and streets, and everything's like 145th Street and this street and that street. And I don't know how people like even remember all this shit. It's just so damn big. How do you guys like have that all in your mind? Like people from New York, how do you guys remember all this shit? Like I live next to New York, and every time I go there, I get lost sometimes. It's so big. And just when you think you know where you're going, you get lost. You don't know where you're going, But Brooklyn, dope ass borough, probably one of the better ones, to be honest. You have Queens. I dated this one girl from Astoria, which supposedly, and I do have family that lives in Queens, but Queens is different. Queens is so different from the other boroughs because, from my knowledge, I could be wrong. From my knowledge, is I think the only borough that has houses. Like I know a lot of people always think that New York is apartment buildings and big buildings, but Queens has houses. It may not be the biggest houses, but it has like these small, cute houses and stuff. Have you guys ever seen Spider-Man? In fact, I think that's where Spider-Man's from. He's from Queens. And so in Queens, they have these little small houses, little cute small houses that go for $1 million, over $1 million. They're that expensive. And to own that is if you want to own it. And there's small houses like a fucking shoebox, but they're cute. There's a little house, and it's right next to the city, right there, Queens. Queens, from what I hear, is a lot more bougier than the other boroughs. It's more of a place to live in compared to the other boroughs. So that's really what I know of when it comes to Queens. I do have family that lives in Queens, so it is very nice where they're at. A lot of nice like areas to shop, nice places to eat. It's very nice. It's very nice compared to the other boroughs. Then you have the Bronx, which is known as the Boogie Down Bronx, right? Which is known as the ghetto of and no offense to anyone that's from New York City, okay, or from the Bronx, that is. This isn't any offense, but this is what people view the Bronx as. Okay, so they view it as a ghetto place, a place to stay away from. You guys ever seen that Lion King meme where it's Mufasa and Simba, like a baby Simba, and they're looking over the horizon, they're looking at the whole area, and Mufasa's like, hey, you see that dark place over there? Yeah, stay away from there. That's how a lot of people view Bronx or New Jersey, where I'm from, right? They view that. I don't know why. New Jersey's great, but besides the point. That's what they say about the Bronx. They say, yeah, you see that place over? Yeah, stay away from the Bronx. Besides Yankee Stadium, don't go anywhere else. And that's what a lot of people from the Bronx do. In fact, there's the Bronx Zoo, which is another tourist area there, and then there's Yankee Stadium. So those are the only two places you see people at. Anywhere else is like, nope, get away from there. And judging from the stats, judging from what I've seen, the Bronx is, it's a little dangerous compared to the other ones. So be very careful when you're on the Bronx. But there's still a lot of redeeming qualities about the Bronx, the food, the people. A lot of people take great pride of being from the Bronx. Cardi B came from the Bronx. A lot of big artists came from the Bronx. I think Fat Joe's from the Bronx. A lot of these big rappers are either from Brooklyn or from the Bronx. And then, of course, Queens, Nicki Minaj, Nas, 50 Cent, I think, is from Queens. But for the most part, the biggest artists from New York in general are either from Brooklyn or from the Bronx. So those are breeding grounds for talent and for a lot of, mega stars and big rappers. But yeah, the Bronx, which is mostly known for Yankee Stadium. So you got Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens. What have I missed? Guys? So Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan. I feel like I'm missing one. There's definitely one that I'm missing, guys. And you guys are going to hate me. I forgot which one it is. Please, guys, please put it in the comment section if I missed one. But, of course, there's also Staten Island. I don't know if a lot of New York City folk consider Staten Island a part of it. But you do have Staten Island, which, to be honest with you, I don't like Staten Island. I don't. Would I rather be there than the Bronx? Yeah, I'd rather be in Staten Island than the Bronx. But I don't like Staten Island. No offense, guys. I don't like Staten Island. It's dirty. It smells. To me, it's the armpit of New York City. It's the armpit of New York City, Staten Island. No offense to my Staten Islanders. I met so many amazing people in Staten Island. But from my experience of working in Staten Island and going through the streets of Staten Island, I hated every second of it. All you see is a bunch of Guidos and ex-mafiosos. It's just a place, you don't want to fuck with no one over there in Staten Island. Okay, but there's a lot of good food, good shit in Staten Island, but I don't like Staten Island. And I haven't been there for many years, and I don't want to be there at all. All right, no offense to Staten Island. But guys, I feel like I'm missing another borough from New York City. Hold on a second, guys. I feel like I'm missing something from New York City, and I feel like in order to give this city the respect it deserves, I need to talk about every borough. So you have Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, which I was correct. Also, I talked about everything. So you got Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, which is also included into this, and the Bronx, and of course New Jersey, guys. I can't leave off New Jersey, where I'm actually from. New Jersey is dope as hell. I know a lot of people want to talk shit about New Jersey. I consider New Jersey a part of New York. I consider them both the same thing. Because if you think about it, the Statue of Liberty, if you look at it in the map, technically speaking, the Statue of Liberty is in New Jersey. Technically speaking, well, actually, factually speaking, the MetLife Stadium where the Giants and the Jets play, that is in New Jersey. Okay, I'm trying to think what else is a lot of this shit. Whenever you guys see the Super Bowl, which I think there was a Super Bowl here almost 10 years ago where the Broncos got spanked by the Seahawks. Guess where that was? In freaking MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. Okay, but of course New York want to claim that shit. They always want to claim everything that New Jersey got, and they still trash talk us. I don't know why. On top of that, WrestleMania was hosted, I think, the year before that. The Rock and Cena headlined that Mania. And on top of that, WrestleMania was also hosted, I think it was WrestleMania 39. No, I'm bugging. WrestleMania 39 was the other. I meant 29. 29. No, it was 29. Then there was another one. Guys, I'm bugging. Which WrestleMania was it? I think it was a triple threat between Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte. That WrestleMania was also, I think it was 35. That WrestleMania was in New Jersey. Okay, not New York. New York, when I claim it, was New Jersey. All right, so a lot of big sporting events happen in New Jersey. Okay, a lot of these New Yorkers that talk all this shit about New Jersey, guess where they move to when it's time to raise a family and to retire? All right, if it's not Florida, for the most part, they're going to New Jersey. Okay, in the summertime, whenever they want to, have fun and dip in the water and get their feet wet and meet chicks, guess where they're going to? The Jersey Shore. Okay, in fact, a lot of those people from the Jersey Shore show are technically from New York, or for example, Pauly D, I think he's from Rhode Island. Sammy's actually from New Jersey. What's that girl's name? There was this one girl from Staten Island. They call it the Staten Island Dump. Snooki, I think she's from New York. Situation, I think he's from New York. Vinny is from Staten Island. So technically, a lot of them are from New York, but they claim Jersey, right? But yeah, Jersey Shore. That's what a lot of people know New Jersey is, Jersey Shore. But there's a lot of New Yorkers, Guidos, that come to the Jersey Shore, that party there, right? Talk shit about Jersey, but yet they're always there, right? And whenever they want to raise a family, they're coming to New Jersey, right? Bringing their loud asses over here and shit. But they want to talk shit about New Jersey, right? And then when they live here for a while, they actually grow to appreciate New Jersey. That's the crazy part. They stop talking shit and they learn to appreciate New Jersey. Like, you know what? I take it back what I said about New Jersey. New Jersey is actually pretty dope. And it is a very dope state. And I'm very proud of New Jersey. I'm very proud of my state. There's a lot of good shit over here. Our bagels are just as good as New York, maybe better, depending where you go. Our pizza's just as good or maybe better. All right, we have great food here. All right, a great entertainment. Maybe not compared to anything to New York City, because New York City is a lot going on in one place, right? But we do have Hoboken, okay? Hoboken, mini New York. Jersey City, mini New York. We have a lot of shit. Morristown, right? A lot of shit in North Jersey. And then we got Atlantic City, and Atlantic City is not my favorite place, but, because it's hood. But people go there for casinos and gambling, right? And it's still very popular. A lot of new tourist attractions that were done in Atlantic City, right? They just need to clean it up, in my opinion. But Atlantic City has a lot of potential. You just need to clean it up. They need to sweep that whole fucking city, man. If they could sweep it up and make it like Las Vegas, it can be popular again. But Atlantic City is another tourist attraction. You have the Seaside Heights area, the Jersey Shore, Belmar, all that, Wildwood, all the way in the south. You know, there's a lot of good shit in New Jersey. And the reason why I'm talking about New Jersey when it comes to New York City is because New Jersey holds it down, man. New Jersey deserves respect and it deserves recognition. All right. Whenever we talk about New York City, New Jersey needs to be mentioned. Right. Because New York people, they always want to take credit for everything when in reality, the biggest monument in all of New York City, which is the Statue of Liberty, is technically in New Jersey. All right. I don't want to hear it, New Yorkers. New Yorkers always talking shit. Anyways, let's go back to it. The cons of New York City. Let's talk about it. Guys, that was just the first point. Holy moly, I got to rush through this. All right. Very expensive. Okay. So, guys, New York City, for anything, the only place that you can get affordable shit in New York City is if you go to a 99-cent pizzeria. You guys ever seen those 99-cent pizzerias in New York City? That's the only place you will be able to get an affordable lunch or dinner. Everywhere else you go to New York City, for the most part, unless you know the city like that, or you know someone, or you know all the hidden gems, you're spending an arm and a leg. You go to a restaurant in New York City. I would never forget this. I went to Brooklyn. It was literally in Brooklyn. I think it was called Steak and Charcoal or something like that. I'm probably mispronouncing it. It's in Brooklyn. I went there. Went there on a date years ago, and we literally just got a big thing of cheese fries and then 2 steaks. And guess how much that shit turned out to be? That shit was $500. $500. I'm looking at that shit and I'm like, God damn. That's a lot of fucking money, bro. For this in New Jersey, this meal would be like 150. But no, everything's on steroids. Not only are the buildings on steroids and everything, but you also got the food prices and the prices in general and cost of living in New York, which is crazy. It's on steroids. Like, we got 2 steaks and cheese fries and 2 drinks. One for her, one for me, and that shit was $500. How in the hell does that happen? And then on top of that, I got to tip this motherfucker. And he didn't have the best service either. This dude was like overwhelmed with how many people were there. Right? But that's how expensive it is. You go anywhere. You go to an Applebee's in New York City. You look at the menu. You notice that the prices are on steroids. The prices are double from what they are in New Jersey or any other state in the country. That's how New York City is. New York City, everything's just bigger and more expensive there. Right? You try to get an apartment in New York City. You're paying almost $2,000 for a shoebox of an apartment. Okay? So you got your room, the bathroom right there. You can literally see the kitchen from your bedroom. The kitchen, in fact, the kitchen and the bedroom are attached to each other like that. It's like a little studio for $2,000 in New York City. If you want to be able to have a good apartment in New York City, you need to be making almost 6 figures or more. I honestly don't know how people live in New York City. I have no idea how they even live in New York City. I literally question myself every morning. Every morning that I wake up, I'm like, how do people live in New York City? Because I live in New Jersey, and I'm over here struggling. I ain't gonna lie. New Jersey is expensive as well. New Jersey, like the minimum apartment you could get around here is $1,500. And $1,500, you would think you would get a good apartment, but you actually don't. You get like a decent apartment for $1,500. And even that is better than the shoebox that you get in New York City. New York City, like the apartment is big, paying like 2 G's for that shit. You can literally hear the train. You can hear your neighbors shagging next door. Like, or let me not say shagging, but you can hear them like smashing, right? You hear all sorts of things. You see the rats, the roaches and shit, and you're paying $2,000. You're busting your ass for that. And that's the thing about New York City. New York City isn't about the looks. In terms of apartments, it's not about the looks or how big it is. The reason why it's so damn expensive is because of the location. Just because you happen to be in New York City, which everything, the Mecca of the world, basically. It has everything around. You have the restaurants, best places, blah, 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 right next to you. That's why that apartment's so damn expensive. It's not because of the interior and what's actually inside and how big it is. No, it's about the location. You happen to be in New York City. So because of that, we're going to charge you an arm and a leg and your firstborn child for this apartment with roaches and fucking rats everywhere, right? And there's a big rat problem in not only in Paris, but in New York City. Big rat problem, roach problem over there. I don't know what it is about that city. Well, actually, I do. It's and that's I think that may be the next thing. Yeah, which is the next thing. Can be dirty. Guys, I've seen rats this big, roaches this big in New York City. I don't know what it is about the water or whatever it is over there, guys, but you see some critters over there, bro. Not only do you, well, I'm gonna get to that later because I'm kind of rushing ahead. But yeah, guys, there's a big rat problem, big roach problem, bed bug problem over there. Uh, it can smell like garbage. It can smell like sewer sometimes. You know, and when you go on them subways, of course, which we're gonna get to later, and the train stations smell like piss. In fact, you may see a homeless man pissing right in front of you, or even taking a shit in front of you. I saw a homeless man, literally taking a shit, and because you know how like those public those people that clean the train stations, they'll go around and start mopping and shit and sweeping or whatever it is. Yeah, so he left the mop, what's it called? The thing where they stuff the mop in and shit with the water and everything in it. He left it there unattended. So one of the homeless men, coked out of his mind or whatever drug he was on, thought it was a good idea to take his pants off with his weenie outside and shit and sit down on that thing, pop a squat and take a dump on that shit. And literally the guy came back and there was a giant turd in the fucking thing. And homeboy was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's what type of city New York City is. You know what I mean? Like, it's disgusting. You see all sorts of disgusting things. People don't give a damn about the environment out there, which is why the pollution's an issue. It's disgusting, you know, at certain points. It's a very beautiful city, don't get me wrong, but it's also very dirty. And I think there needs to be something done about those subways and those train stations. Because I saw a video on Japan, and Japan, I don't know if it's bigger than New York City. It might be bigger. I think it might be bigger than New York City. Actually, let me search this up, guys, since I have you guys here. Let me see. Is New York City, because I've never been to Tokyo. I'm in Tokyo, that is. What city is Tokyo or New York City? It says here, Tokyo is the most populated metropolitan area in the world, but it's also much larger than New York City. So it's more larger than New York City. And I saw how their subways are, their train stations. It looks so much more cleaner. In fact, I saw TikTok videos of them cleaning the train stations and everything and the trains themselves. And they take their time cleaning everything. They clean this on a daily basis, first thing in the morning. They scrub everything. Everything's super clean, shiny. And this is a very populated city, guys. It's more populated than the New York City. And everything's much cleaner. It don't make no sense. So how is it that this city is more populated and it's bigger than New York City, and it happens to be way cleaner? How does that happen? And I think it's because of laziness, bro. I don't think people want to go in there and clean this shit. And they should. They need to do this. Why is it that during COVID, this was a big thing during COVID in New York City? They would scrub everything. They'll do it every day and go crazy, right? But then as soon as the pandemic is done, no, back to being dirty. And it's disgusting. You grab like a rail or you grab something, you open a door in New York City, hella bacteria and germs on that shit, bro. Because they don't clean any of that, bro. That's why it be stinking and shit sometimes in New York City. So that's a con about New York City. It can be a little bit dirty and nasty people. Speaking of nasty people, there's a lot of rude and loud people, guys. So listen, I've been to a lot of different places in the world, okay, which we're going to get to later. We're going to get to those cities and places later. But I think the most loud people and possibly even the most rude people in the world. All right, I know Paris may have something to say about that. And I didn't experience that in Paris, but I know a lot of people did. And it's notorious for that. But I personally believe, and this could change in 5 years' time, maybe even a year's time. I personally believe that the most loudest and rudest people in the world come from New York City. They take so much pride in being loud in New York City. I don't get it. If you don't believe me, just go to New York City once and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just go into a subway once. You always have those assholes in the corner somewhere or in the streets saying some bullshit at the top of their lungs. I don't know what it is about New Yorkers. Why are you guys so damn loud? God damn, even in the music, you be listening to New York drill and shit. Blah, 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 blah. Bro, but y'all be loud as hell. Even in y'all accents, when y'all speak, that New York accent, because I know every borough got their own little accent. Y'all speak so damn loud. Even the girls speak hella masculine and loud as hell. Bro, New York women, bro, are hella masculine. women from New York are super masculine. That city just naturally turns women masculine. They be talking hella loud and with an attitude and with a sass, and they feisty and they want to fight and lay their hands on you. No offense to them. I met a lot of dope New York women, but at the same time, it's not me dissing New York women. It's me more of like poking fun at it. I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny how you guys are so damn loud and aggressive. I don't know what it is. I guess it makes sense. It's New York. You kind of got to be that way naturally, or else you get lost in the sauce there, man. Because survival of the fittest in New York City, man. Like people walk all over you over there if they could. That's the type of city New York is. It's ruthless out there. If you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, bro. But yeah, a lot of loud and rude people in New York City. They'll bump into you. They'll step on your shoes. They might even shove you a little bit. They might even curse at you, tell you off because this is one piece of advice for anyone that goes to New York. Stick to your right. Stick to your right. So when you're going upstairs or even on the escalator, stick to your right. Don't be that asshole that's in their left. Because someone's going to tell you to move over because they're trying to skip the whole people. Sometimes when you're on the escalator, you're just there standing still. You know what I mean? You're just waiting for the thing to go up to the top. But then you have those people that want to walk up the escalators because they're in a rush. So if you happen to be in the left and there's someone on the right there, they're blocked off. So they're going to tell you to move over because they're trying to get out. And they might not always say it in a very nice way. So always stick to your right, walk to your right, never to your left because there's always people trying to, go over you. All right. So yeah. And always watch your surroundings, guys. Watch where you're walking. Stop being on your phone. New York City is not one of those type of places you want to be on your phone because you might get hit by a taxi and taxi drivers don't give a damn. And that's another thing. These taxi drivers from New York are different, bro. They're hella rude. And that's because the job naturally turns them that way. It's the type of job where it's kind of like, time is money. So it's kind of like if you're wasting their time, they're going to get pissed. Because time is money. They're trying to make as much money as possible. They're trying to drop you off, pick up the next person, drop them off. And if you're holding them up, they're going to be mad as hell at you. And they get mad over anything out there, traffic, anything. And them motherfuckers have no patience. All right, so yeah. The crime, so a lot of people, obviously, it's very populated. So letting you guys know, it's ridiculous over there, especially in Times Square. It's very crowded, guys. So just become used to becoming a sardine because there's a lot of fucking people. Okay. Crime. There's a lot of crime in New York City, just like any other city, but there's a lot of crime depending what borough wherever you're at. Just be very careful, guys. Robberies are a big thing. They be robbing people's rims, their tires. They be going into your car. Like that's the thing. If you live in New York City or planning on living in New York City, be very careful with your car because they're known to steal things from your car. If they see a bag or something in your car, they'll break the windows to get it, bro. And they don't give a damn. They'll take it. So just be very careful because I've seen TikToks and I've heard stories from my friends. God damn. I heard stories from my friends. I'm about to sneeze again. Shit. Oh, man. Oh man. Yeah. Be very careful what you leave in your car, man. And on top of that, like people will scratch your car out there because the parking in New York City is different. Parking is ridiculous. Parking is like gold in New York City. People will fight over parking. Parking is very rare. Good luck trying to have a car in the city. I recommend if you want to live in the city, just don't even have a car. Just take a train, public transportation. What the hell's going on? God damn, sneezing so damn much. That's the most I ever sneezed on live. I recommend just walk, take public transportation or Ubers or taxis because, if you have a car out there, it's the possibility of you getting robbed, something stolen from your car. What the hell's going on, man? Ah, damn. It's very high in New York City. So be very careful with that. And a lot of robberies, shootings, depending where you're at, stabbings. Be very careful, guys. One of the most craziest crimes I've seen in New York City was that one little Dominican kid. What was it in the Bronx? I think it might have been in the Bronx, where they thought that there was like a group of gang members, I think, or a group of guys that were also Dominican, that they were looking for this particular person. I don't know why or what that person did. But they thought that this kid was that guy, and they went over to him and stabbed him, I think it was, multiple times, killing the kid. They ended up finding out it was the wrong person. and I think they're in jail right now. I think, hopefully they are. Hopefully all of them are. That's a terrible crime. But yeah, they ended up killing the wrong person. It wasn't even him. He was just an innocent by a person that happened to be mistaken for someone else. Got stabbed, killed. Poor guy. R.I.P. But shit like that be happening in New York City. So be very careful. I know a lot of people watch the movies and Home Alone and all that, and they think, oh, New York City's grand and great, and it is. But you have to be very careful. Just like any other city, you have to be very careful where you go, because people, yeah, they're not afraid to get shit popping over there, right? So yeah, the subway system can be very confusing. All right, so I'm gonna go through this one very quickly, guys, because I think I spent way too much time in New York City. But I don't know what it is about New Yorkers, about Americans in general. This is something that I know is about Americans compared to other countries. In other countries, the subway system, the train systems are very easy to navigate. All right, you take this train, it takes you there. That's it, right? It's very simple. Everything is organized, because I've taken trains in other countries. I've taken public transportation in other countries. And even with the language barriers, it's so much easier to understand, right? In New York City, however, it's like fucking algebra. You be looking at the maps and everything, you're like, what the fuck is this? It's like you have to take this train and get off at this station and take the B train up to uptown or whatever and get out of there and then go on the ground and fight the Ninja Turtles and Shredder and get out of the fucking sewer and get up there and then take that train over there and then get out of there and take this bus and go down over there and then get out of the bus and walk 10 blocks down the block and make a left and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like ridiculous. Ask a New Yorker for directions and you'll see what I'm talking about. Or just look at the map. In fact, you know what? Let me see if I can search it up for you guys. It is ridiculous how the subways work out there. I can see why I got lost one time, guys. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking taxis and I'm taking Ubers. I'm not doing this subway shit no more. I don't know how New Yorkers do this shit. New Yorkers be taking pride in that shit. Yeah, let's take the subway. Fuck that. Take no subway. Look, I look like getting lost over here. All right, let me show y'all this real quick, man. Maybe I'm retarded. Maybe that's what it is, guys. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. You guys can tell me if I am. But I don't know. I compared to other places, this is complicated. Look at this shit. What is this shit? You guys see this? You guys see how complex this shit is? All right, so you got the blue line, the red line, the yellow line, the green line, the gold line, the orange line. You got all this shit. Right? You got this shit over here. I don't know if you guys can see. You got all this shit, all these streets and shit I never heard of in my life. Fuck that. Fuck that. Look at this crap. What the? You got all these different lines and shit. She'd be looking like someone just scrabbled on a piece of paper. Look at this shit. They'll scrabble all over the place. I got lost, guys. I got lost. God forbid if you end up missing. Did I stop sharing? God forbid if you end up missing your stop. Now you gotta fucking get off somewhere and go back down. And fuck that. That happened to me once too. Fuck that. And that's another thing, guys, is the trains only run, which is ridiculous. To me, New York City should be 24/7. The trains should be running 24/7, or at least close to it. But the trains stop running around 1 a.m. in the morning. It might have changed, but 1 a.m. in the morning, which means if you go out to the city to party on the weekend, your ass might as well be there all night. You might as well go to Penn Station around 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning because the next train is around 5 a.m. Right? So good luck trying to get back to the city or trying to get back somewhere else. Maybe you come from Jersey or somewhere, which is where I'm from. Because they stop after 1 a.m., you're stranded. Now you got to wait till 5 a.m. to the next train so you can take that. It's either that or you're going to pay $100+ to go from New York to Jersey, and nobody got money for that type of shit because they make up their own prices, and those meters are ridiculous. It'll go down the block, and it's already $20. I'm like, bro, how that shit went from 50 cents to $20? How the fuck that happened? I don't know. New York City's wild. Anyways, guys, let's go over to the pros. I think I've taken so much time in New York City, man. So the pros is there's so much to do and see in New York City. So guys, there's a lot to do, man. This city, out of all the cities I've been to, it's the one with the most possibilities. It is the wildest city. It's the city where there's so much to do. And when you think you're done, when you think you've done it all, there's more shit that happens, right? There's more shit that pops up. And it's just impossible to do everything. I know people that have been living in New York City all their lives, and they still haven't done everything, right? So, and of course, it's split up by different boroughs. So you have the Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, all that, right? So there's so much. And then on top of that, Long Island, which isn't technically a part of New York, but is not far from New York City. So you have Long Island, New Jersey. There's a lot to see, guys. And on top of that, New York City is close to a lot of different major cities. So you got Philly, Boston, all that. DC is a couple hours away, so it's close to a lot of other major cities. So it's so much to do and see. Broadway plays. So if you guys are into, all that, Broadway and plays, and I definitely recommend you check it out. I've checked out a couple ones. My favorite one was Fuerza Bruta. I'm debating on whether to show you guys what that is. Let me actually search it up so we can talk about it. But Fuerza Bruta is like a Broadway play / party. It's a party / Broadway. I don't think New York has it anymore. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. It felt like I was in a club, but it was a play. And I think Usher, you guys can search it up, but Usher, one of his music videos, I think it was called Scream, his hit song called Scream from like 10 years ago. The music video, he's on a treadmill, running on the treadmill, and that's inspired by Fuerza Bruta. But Fuerza Bruta, that's the thing. They run on the treadmill super fast and shit to music, and that's what inspired Usher for that music video. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about to an extent. I think videos will be better, but I don't have the time for that right now. I already spent way too much time on New York City. Way too much time. I'm kind of mad at myself right now. But yeah, this is Fuerza Bruta. So you have you see this over here, guys. So this is you don't see it, but it's a glass ceiling, a glass platform, I would say. So it raises up and down, and it's like a pool. It has a pool of water, and you have these people swimming on it and doing weird. I don't even know how to describe it, guys. It's really complex. But over here, doing all sorts of things in the water and shit, and sliding around and doing shit, right? So yeah, you have people being, they have these little harnesses or whatever it is holding them. Yeah, look at this over here. Yeah, so you guys can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. So there's like a glass platform over here with water in it, and they're swimming in it and doing all sorts of things. Let me show you some other stuff. So you have people hanging over here. Even cars are being hung. I'm trying to show you guys the party aspect of it. So you have people performers actually going into the crowd and getting you involved into the play where everyone's just dancing. Let me see what else. So there's another picture of the people in the water. Those performers that I was talking to you guys about. People over here dancing on this little stage with hella confetti and shit. This is what I was talking about with the treadmill, guys. So you have this one guy running on the treadmill and at full speed. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. This is a ridiculous show. So there we go. More stuff. Performers in the dance floor. And they involve you, by the way, guys. Yeah, this is nuts. But yeah, this is probably the most nuts play I've ever been a part of. And of course, I've seen the Spider-Man one. I forgot what it's called, Cross the Spider-Verse or something, but this was a while ago. But yeah, I saw Spider-Man, which I liked. I saw Mary Poppins, but I ended up falling asleep. I saw Lion King as a little boy, but I don't really remember it. But I would assume it's the same shit like the movies. All right, but let's get to it, guys. I'm spending way too much time. Broadway plays amazing food. Some of the best food in the world is in New York City. In terms of pizza, if it's not from Italy, the best pizza, honestly, it's debatable. I honestly think, because I've been to Italy to try their pizza out there, and I would still say that it might be controversial, but the best pizza in the world comes from New York City. I know Italians from Italy might take offense to that, and we're going to get to them later, but New York City got the best pizza. New York City got the best pizza. Well, they have all different types of pizzas. They take pride in their pizza in New York City. There was always new shit coming out over there. Pizza, pasta, it don't matter what type of food it is, man. And that's another thing is New York City is very diverse. So you have the best food. It's almost like you guys have to think about New York City as kind of the capital of the world. It's not just it's not just a major city in the world and a major city, because it's technically not the capital of the United States, it's Washington, D.C., but New York City is the capital of the world because everyone from the world flocks to New York City. They go to New York City. So you have an amazing Mediterranean restaurant, an amazing Asian restaurant, amazing Spanish restaurants, amazing Jamaican, African. It don't matter what the race is or what the ethnicity or the culture. New York City got an amazing restaurant or amazing restaurants for every single thing that you're looking for. It's impossible not to be content with the food of New York City or to try out new great food. There's so much. And I've never seen a country like that does it to that degree, or a city that does it to that degree. I've been all around the world, and they have been more multicultural, more diverse, but not to the extent of New York City. Just not to the extent. You can go, for example, I could go to Spain, and I can have sushi in Spain. And the sushi will still be good. I have tried sushi in Spain. Very good, right? But not as good as if I went to Japan, for example, right? However, New York City, I can go to a great Japanese restaurant and the sushi can rival the quality of Japan. It may not be as good, right? Because that's where it originated from, but it can rival it. Because you have actual Japanese people from Japan that migrated to New York City, that started their own restaurant, that make these recipes, like the way it was in Japan. Compared to Spain, where it's just Spanish people that are just taking the recipes and they're making it themselves, right? So New York City is just so different. Very diverse, stunning views everywhere, guys. If you go to rooftops, you go anywhere, clubs, stunning views everywhere, man. You can't beat New York City when it comes to views. It's just magnificent. So places to visit, guys, when you're in New York City: Statue of Liberty, which is technically New Jersey. You guys can check that out. Take a little ferry, go around, or a boat tour, or whatever it is. You can check it out. I don't know if you can actually go onto the island itself now. I think it's called I forgot what the island of the Statue of Liberty is called, or maybe it's just the Statue of Liberty. But I've been to the Statue of Liberty once. I've actually been inside of the Statue of Liberty, but it's been years, guys. It's been like since I was in elementary school. It was an elementary school trip. But I have, passed by New York City. I've driven New York City, and I have seen the Statue of Liberty in the distance. It's definitely the most iconic landmark in all of America. If I were to pick one single landmark or monument or whatever from America to represent this country, that represents this country the best, it is the Statue of Liberty. It was the first thing that a lot of people saw when they were coming on the boats from other countries. When they migrated to America, it was the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was their welcome to America. And the crazy part about the Statue of Liberty was that the Statue of Liberty wasn't made by Americans. It was made by French people. Out of all people, because French people hate Americans for some odd reason. But they made pretty much the most iconic statue, the most iconic landmark, one of the most iconic landmarks in the world. It might be number one, who knows? But Statue of Liberty is iconic. And if you're in the city, definitely visit it. Empire State Building, definitely go to the top. It is the highest building, I believe. It's still the highest building in New York City. So check it out. Go all the way to the tippy top, or at least to the top, because I know there's levels to it. But try out to go to the top. I've actually never been atop of the Empire State Building, but even seeing the Empire State Building from the distance or even from the ground level is definitely a dope view, especially when it lights up at night. You have the Empire State Building, Madison Square Garden. Now, Madison Square Garden I've actually been inside the venue itself. So Penn Station is attached to Madison Square Garden, but I've actually been in the venue. And I've been in the venue. I went to see a DJ called Hardwell, a Hardwell concert. I've actually been into Madison Square Garden. And it's cool. But I think when Madison Square Garden, the main thing about Madison Square Garden is historic. It's the most historic arena in all of America. I mean, there's not one arena in America or venue in America that's as historic or as American as Madison Square Garden. They say that if you sell out Madison Square Garden, you can sell out anywhere. And it's the truth. Madison Square Garden is hard to sell out. If you sell it out, that means you're a star. So Madison Square Garden is one of those venues that it might not be the most, visually stunning places. It's old, but it's historic, and just for that, it's iconic. So if Madison Square Garden, check out a Knicks game, concert, something, or even from the outside, just to see Madison Square Garden. Central Park is probably one of my favorite parks in the world. It's in the center of Manhattan. It's this large park, and it has a bunch of different things you can do. You can ice skate there. You could ride horses there. You could run. You could ride bike. You could do whatever you want in Madison Square Garden. In Central Park. It's ginormous. It's kind of an escape from the city. At certain points, you almost believe that you're in the mountains somewhere. Or you're in the forest or whatever it is, because you forget you're in the city. You don't hear any taxis, nothing. It's kind of like a nice balance to the city, because when you're out in the streets, it's chaotic, a lot of people, horns, assholes everywhere, homeless people. But when you're in the Central Park itself, and the park itself, it's kind of like you're in a total different city. It's almost like you're not in the city at all. And then once you get out of it, you're reminded, oh shit, I'm in New York City. So it's a nice escape from New York City. I do like Central Park. It's very nice, very cool. So much to do and see in Central Park. The Brooklyn Bridge, which is, I think, the longest bridge in New York City, I believe. It's nice. It's historic. A lot of movies are filmed there. Check it out. Check it out. Ride some bike there, or maybe walk across. It's definitely dope to see that, man. Times Square, I mean, guys, what else can I say about Times Square? It's probably the most, besides the Statue of Liberty itself, it's the first thing that people think about when they think about New York City is Times Square. So check out Times Square. For sure, man. Rockefeller Center is historic and great because around this time of the year, so we're at that time of the year, it becomes an ice skating rink, and it has the Christmas tree and all that. It's very holiday, puts you in the holiday spirit. Big Christmas tree, everyone's skating around, very nice stuff around it. Check out the Rockefeller Center for sure when you're out in New York City. And the Bronx Zoo, which is very visited. And of course, guys, there's a ton of other things you guys can do in New York City that I didn't even mention. But these are some things that besides the Empire State Building, like going on top of it, I've actually done everything else. Yeah, guys, that's New York City. Now, midway through this presentation, now I'm thinking, shit, should I go through all these, man? Because it literally took me almost an hour to get through New York City. Holy moly. But anyways, guys, let's do it. Number 2, Madrid. Madrid, 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 y nada más, Madrid. Hala Madrid. All right, I have to do that because I'm a Madrid fan. But guys, number 2 on the list, okay, these aren't ranked or anything, guys. These are just like random. They're just some of my favorite cities. I originally was going to do a ranking, but I was like, nah, man, I'm just going to name them off. Ranking would just be too much of a headache to do. But Madrid. All right, so I decided to talk about Madrid first out of all the Spanish cities I got to pick from, because I've been in Spain twice and for very long periods of time. And I decided to start off with Madrid and talk about Madrid first. Because the thing is, Madrid is so slept on and overlooked compared to other big cities in Spain. And the thing is, Madrid is one of those cities that people talk about a lot, right? Madrid's always mentioned, but it's never a city that people mention as their favorite city, right? Whenever someone says that their favorite city, whenever someone talks about their favorite cities in Spain, they always refer to Barcelona, Sevilla. They talk about Ibiza, Mallorca, Valencia. They always talk about other places but Madrid. Madrid's like the capital of Spain, and it's always neglected and ignored and overlooked. But I thought I would give some love to Madrid, and that's not because I'm a Madridista, right? Because I'm a Real Madrid fan, but because it deserves some love. So the capital of Spain is often referred to as a boring city, especially compared to Barcelona, but I believe that this is far from the truth. Madrid has a lot to offer and deserves your time and attention. So, guys, Madrid's referred to as a boring city, and that's because Madrid's one of those cities, guys. This is the way I want to put it when it comes to Madrid. Madrid is what you make it. It's not like Barcelona or even Seville, but Barcelona specifically, where you can walk outside your apartment and there's something to do, right? There's a speakeasy, there's a bar, there's a good-ass restaurant, there's a bunch of drunk girls and guys roaming around doing stupid shit. There's a beach down the block. It's not like that. It's not like Barcelona. But that doesn't make it inferior to Barcelona. It's a total different city, and it's going for a different type of vibe. Madrid is what you make it. So if you're into museums, they got that. Okay, they got some amazing museums to go to. Some of them, depending what time of the season or what time of the year you go to, are free, depending on the day. So if you go on a Monday or a Sunday, it can be free, right? They got amazing state-of-the-art, top-tier museums. I think the best museum in all of Spain, I believe, is in Madrid. I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of it, but I heard they got the best museum. I was supposed to go, didn't get to go. But they have supposedly the best museum. If you guys know or get where I'm trying to go at, write down the museum in the comment section when you can. So there's that. Madrid, on top of that, has amazing restaurants, of course, which we're going to get to later. There's just so much to do. The nightlife, which we're going to get to. There's a lot of good shit going on in Madrid. It is what you make it. If you just stay in your apartment, you walk around for a bit, and that's all you want to do, you may not encounter some cool things. It's just not like Barcelona, where you could walk around and it'll be an amazing night because there's a lot. It's just so vibrant and energetic. That's how Barcelona is. Madrid is a little bit more calmer compared to Barcelona. So if you go to Plaza Mayor, which in my opinion is probably the most busiest area of all of Madrid, it's not as crazy as compared to going to Las Ramblas in Barcelona, right? Or even other places in Spain. So Madrid's more down tempo compared to Barcelona, but that doesn't make it like less of a city or inferior. It just means you need to look at the right places. And my recommendation for you guys when you go out to Madrid is go with a tour guide, or meet a local, or speak to a local, talk to them about what the places are out there. Or even, like I said over and over and over, I mention this every time I talk about traveling, and I'll mention it again. Look into Airbnb experiences, because this is a good way of connecting with locals without looking weird or sounding weird. And they show you around and they show you the best places, because Madrid has a lot to offer. It's just a type of place where you need to know what you're doing in Madrid. It's not like Barcelona where you can go anywhere and it'll be a good time, or even Seville. You got to know what you're doing in Madrid in order to have a fun time. And that turns people off because they're like, Madrid's nice, but it's kind of boring. It's known as a beautiful city, but a boring city. And I think that's far from the truth. You just got to know where to go in Madrid. That's the difference. Let's go over the cons, and a lot of people are going to be saying, why is it that I'm going over the cons and not the pros first? I like to start off with the bad and end off with the good. That's always how I've been, guys. I like to get the bad out the way and go with the good. So the bad, calmer than Barcelona, which is what I went over just now. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it is calmer than Barcelona, which can be a problem for some people. Some people think, it's the capital. It should be more hectic and busy. But in some, a lot of the biggest tourist area in Spain, the two biggest tourist areas are Barcelona and Ibiza. So Barcelona gets a lot of tourism. Madrid doesn't get as much for some odd reason, and it's the capital. So it's not as much activity or as crazy as Barcelona is. So a lot of people get turned off for the fact that it's calmer. Not as many tourist spots that stick out. So that's another thing, guys, is even though Madrid does have tourist spots, like, for example, Retiro Park, which is a tourist spot, Plaza Mayor, tourist spot, there's a couple of cathedrals. I forgot the name of the cathedrals, but there's a specific cathedral in Madrid that's very famous that a lot of people go to for the sunset. That's a very touristy spot. There's tourist spots in Madrid, but they don't stick out as much as other cities. So Sevilla, you have the Setas of Sevilla, right? Barcelona, Barcelona is a ton. There's a ton of places in Barcelona, right? You have the Arc, a Barceloneta Beach. You have La Ramblas area. You got Tibidabo. You have Park Güell. Camp Nou, which, Estadio Bernabeu, which we're going to get to. Madrid has that. But Madrid doesn't really have big tourist spots compared to other Spanish cities. So that kind of holds it back. That doesn't mean that it's less or it's better, but it just means that it doesn't stick out as much as other cities. That's the thing. And that adds on to the boring part of it, that it's not as exciting as the other Spanish cities. But like I said, that's not the truth. Okay, so more likely to encounter people who don't speak. So this is the experience that I got. I could be wrong. Not that it bothered me or annoyed me, because I know Spanish. But my girl, for example, she's Russian. She only speaks English and Russian, right? And when I went out to Madrid, for the most part, a lot of people just spoke Spanish for the most part. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they don't get as many tourists as other places. I don't know what it is. It's more, or it could have been the neighborhood we were in, actually. We were in La Latina in Madrid, which is one of the nicest, coolest neighborhoods, hippiest neighborhoods in all of Madrid, which I like. I like La Latina. So it could have been the neighborhood, actually. Now that I think about it, in that neighborhood, a lot of people just spoke Spanish. It was mostly local. So a lot of people in that area that we were in were mostly local. So actually, I think I might have answered my own question. So it could have been because of the neighborhood we were in. But even the first time I went there, I was by Plaza Mayor. Like literally, guys, literally. The first time I went to Madrid, I was staying in an apartment building on top of a restaurant. And literally, if you walk a couple feet from there, Plaza Mayor is right there. So the busiest, most touristy area. And still, I met a lot of people that really didn't speak English like that. They just spoke Spanish. In fact, I think they might have spoken more French and other languages than they spoke English. And it's not because they hate English. I don't know why, actually. They speak minimal English, but I don't know what it is about Madrid. But they don't, compared to other cities I've been to in Spain, I feel like I heard the least English in Madrid compared to other places. Doesn't mean that nobody speaks English. I'm sure there's a ton of people. There's a lot of American people that live at Madrid that speak English, that be able to assist you and help you if need be. But it's not like other cities where they speak more English. In Madrid is more Spanish. So that's a con that you might encounter. So get those Google Translate apps ready. And know a little Spanish too. So the heat's another one. The heat isn't as crazy as Seville, but it is hotter than Barcelona. So and when you're in Madrid, in the center of the city, it's hot. Okay, so at certain points, that heat, it be hitting and it hurts. Okay, so make sure that you get your little hats in the summertime to cover yourself from the heat. You get your little SPF or whatever you want to do. Stay indoors for a little bit, cool off, because it does get very hot in Madrid. All right, so let's go to the pros. So sophisticated. Honestly, guys, the most sophisticated cities I've seen in Europe that I've been to in Europe, and I still have a lot of places I haven't gone to in Europe. The two most sophisticated places I've seen thus far is Paris, which we're going to get to one day, and number 2, Madrid. Madrid is so sophisticated. It looks like the Spanish version of Madrid without the Eiffel Tower, if that makes any sense. There's no Eiffel Tower or big, landmark like Paris, for example. But every single building, for the most part, is a work of art. I would say that aside from Seville, Madrid is the nicest Spanish city I've been to. Madrid is actually more nicer to look at than Barcelona. I think Madrid's just so nice and sophisticated. The buildings glow up at night. It looks like Paris. It's so nice and beautiful. And everything's white, and and white is a big color in Madrid. A lot of these buildings are in white, which is how Paris is too. White, like those type of colors. Sometimes you might get a little color in there, but everything is royal white and nice and sophisticated, and the streets are nice, and the touristy areas are so nice, and it's just a nice city, very nice to look at. Cute restaurants and cool rooftop bars. So, guys, there's a lot of cool rooftop bars in Madrid. If you guys want to check out more of that stuff for time's sake, because I would go over this, guys, in detail, but for time's sake, I don't know if in fact, you know what, guys? You know what I'm going to do? I just thought about it midway through this presentation, guys. I think what I'm going to do is volume 1, I'll just do 3 cities. So I'll do New York, Madrid, and then the next city I'm going to do, and then I'm going to split up the other 2. Or I'll add a third one to that. I'm just gonna do it 3 at a time, because I feel like just doing 2, just doing a 5. That is doing 5, which was what my original plan was, is too much. To do 5 of them, guys, I've already been over an hour, and I've only done one city and a half, which is Madrid. I haven't even spoken everything else about Madrid. So I think I might just do one more city on top of Madrid, guys, and I might just end it from there. Now that I think about it, but I don't want to half-ass the live stream. You know what I mean? I kind of want to go over these things with you guys in detail. So let me go over. Hold on a second. Let me go over what I'm talking about. So there's this hotel, which I also did list as a place you guys should go to in Madrid, or visit in Madrid, called Hotel Rui, or I forgot how they pronounce it. I'm probably mispronouncing it. So let me hold up. Let me share this screen with you guys. Okay. So guys, look at this. So this is one of the best hotel bar rooftop bars in all of Madrid. It's called Hotel Rui Plaza España. Check it out. So these are just some pictures. This is the hotel itself. That's the rooftop. So you guys have probably seen this on TikTok. It has bars, nice areas. You know, even has a pool. It has these glass floors and shit, which is where this girl's standing on is glass. You can see the bottom and everything. So this is it at night. You know, this is that. So this is a little, you know, glass like walkway. You can see the whole Madrid. Honestly, the best views of Madrid are in this hotel. So if you want to see the best views of Madrid, go to Hotel Rui. Hotel Rui is only €5 to go inside of it, depending on what time of the day. It could go up a little bit depending on the time of the day. But when we went around midday, so we're talking 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on I think it was in the week. In the weekend, it might be more expensive. But I think it was on a Monday, Tuesday, I forgot when it was. It was during a weekday, but it was only $5 to go in, which wasn't bad. The prices can be a little more expensive compared to other places in Madrid, but it's worth the trip, guys. Especially if it's your first time in Madrid, definitely visit it. You see all these cool pictures over here, guys. The people there, check it out. To me, it's my favorite rooftop bar in all of Madrid. All right, we'll check that out. So that's Hotel Rui. So Madrid has a lot of little cool restaurants and places. This is another place I recommend for you guys to go to. It's called Bloom in Madrid. So if you're into brunch, this is a spot for you guys to go to. And this is what I mean about Madrid. Madrid has so much cool shit to go to. So many cool little restaurants and places. This is an example of what I'm talking about. Jeez, I don't know what's going on. I want to sneeze. So this is Bloom. So this is the way it looks like from the inside, how beautiful it is, man. And the food is spectacular, guys. The food matches how it looks from the inside. So you have all these cute, cool little brunch meals. Look how this is the stairs going down to the venue, to the restaurant. It's beautiful. But one con I will say about this restaurant is that you have to go through a store to get to it. So I guess the owner of this restaurant also owns the store. So he wants you to go in through. It is a nice high-end store too. It has a bunch of nice shit, right? So I guess the owner wants you to go in through the store, get tempted to buy something on your way to the restaurant, or maybe out of the restaurant. So he makes double the money off of you. So not only did he make money from you from the restaurant, but he's also making money off of you from the store itself. And the store has a lot of high quality shit. So you're going to want to buy something. So this guy's slick. He thinks he's slick, right? But it's beautiful. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look how it looks. This is how it looks like from the outside. Well, you can't really see that. But this is the entrance, right? But it's blocked off by a sign. So they want you to go in through the store. And through the store, you go down the stairs to go in, which is what I showed you guys with all the flowers and everything, to get down to the restaurant. But it's beautiful. The service was dope. Everything about this place was just stunning, especially for my females out there, man. Look at this. They have a swing for you guys to take a picture on. Like, honestly, these pictures aren't doing it justice. I think I probably took better pictures than these, to be honest. But yeah, guys, make sure to check that out when you're in Madrid. 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back, guys. I had to like blow my nose, but I don't know what it is. But sometimes I just like get all stuffy for some reason and start sneezing. I'm like, no. I can't be I'm sniffing the entire time, you know. All right, so so this is another thing, guys, is not only does it have cool rooftop bars, but everything is walkable. So that's one. And this is more of a Europe thing, actually, but Madrid specifically is very walkable. So you can literally walk to all the big tourist spots, all the big tourist areas, all the good areas in Spain. You don't even have to take a taxi or a Uber if you want to save money, right? You can literally walk from one spot to the next. Doesn't mean everything's super close to one another where everything's on top of each other. But if, let's just say, if you wanted to get from the neighborhood I was at, La Latina, to Plaza Mayor, it would take you like 10, 15 minutes, depending how fast you walk, which isn't bad. Because in American cities, you try to go from one place to the next, it'll take you like almost an hour. But in Madrid, you can walk from one place to the next within 10 minutes or 15 minutes apart from each other, right? So everyone walks in Madrid. Either that or they take Ubers or they take public transportation. The public transportation system in Madrid is very good and easy. So I do definitely recommend you guys do that. The Ubers out there are also very cheap. We literally went from the center of the city of Madrid to the suburbs of Madrid. And it took us, like 15, 20 minute, 25-minute ride. And it was only like $10, 10 US dollars, which isn't bad because you try to take a 30-minute ride in America, that's going to cost you like, in fact, from my place to the Newark airport, which is what a lot of people in New York City drive to fly off of, from here to there, and I'm not far from Newark airport. I'm literally like 15, 20 minutes away. And that 15, 20-minute ride will cost me an arm and a leg almost to get there. I remember one time I paid $60, $60, $70. Meanwhile, in Madrid, I go from Madrid to the suburbs of Madrid, which is a good distance, pretty much the same amount or more in terms of distance, and it'll be only $10, you know? Anyways, all right, so that's that. And speaking of that, it's the most livable big city in Spain. So in Seville, which is, I will talk about this in the future, Seville is extremely hot. Okay, extremely hot. Barcelona is cool, but it's very expensive compared to the other big cities. And then Madrid is in between of that. So the temperatures are pretty decent. The prices are pretty affordable, especially for a capital city, which is unheard of because other capital cities are expensive. They're the most expensive place in that country, but in Spain, it's reverse. Barcelona is the most expensive. Madrid's actually more affordable. I think Madrid might have been the most affordable place I've been to in Spain, and it's the capital. How does that work? But it's the most affordable. I think Seville might have been more expensive Seville had more tourists than Madrid. We encountered way more tourists in Seville than what we did in Madrid, which might explain why it's much more affordable than the other big cities in Spain. But Madrid is very affordable. You can literally go out with your girl, your dude, and you can, between the both of you, you guys can be having a $50 dinner, $60 tops maybe, in a good spot. In America, $60 for a meal, like a lot of the time for a date in America, you're paying $100 plus, depending where you're going. 50, 60, maybe less than that, depending. For a meal, for a dinner, that's not bad at all. Maybe even less. If you're going out to drink, you're not spending that, especially as a solo traveler. If you're going by yourself, guys, it's gonna be cheap as hell. You can literally have a great night out for like $50 in Madrid. In America, $50 is there's a couple drinks. It's probably like 3 drinks in America, if that. 3 drinks. You don't have to pay no entrance fee, nothing. You just go straight in and whatever. Some places do require entrance fee though, but for the most part, you go in and you're good. So it's very affordable for capital. But back to the whole livable thing. It's the most livable. A lot of the locals that I've met from Madrid or even outside of Madrid, from Barcelona, Seville, they say the same thing. The place you want to live at is Madrid. There's a lot of opportunity there. It's very nice. The suburbs of Madrid are very nice. I've been to the suburbs of Madrid, and it does live up. Like, I do like it. I could see myself living there. Like, I think, yeah, honestly, if I were to pick a place to live, as much as I do want to live in Barcelona, because it's so, like, cool and, like, so much to do, I feel like Barcelona is for people that are younger, that are in their bachelor years, right? That's the place you want to be at. Seville is cool, too. I love Seville. It's very charming, but it's very hot. But Madrid is in between that. So Madrid, it's a good couple hours away from Seville, a good couple hours away from Barcelona, not too crazy. So if you wanted to take a train ride, you could. It's right there from one another. It's the temperatures can be hot in the summer, but it's not as crazy as Seville. You have New York City like type of shit, so you have everything right there for you. And if you live in the suburbs, to go to the center of the city is not that far, and the suburbs are very nice. Everyone's cool with each other, nice houses. It's more affordable than living in Barcelona, for example. So this is why a lot of people were saying Madrid is the best place to live in compared to the other places. So if you want to live in Madrid, that's definitely a good city to live in compared to other big cities that I mentioned so far. The nightlife, and this is the thing is everyone I'm gonna mention these two places again, Barcelona and Ibiza. When people think about Spain, they think about those two cities, but they leave out Madrid. And Madrid, I went on a bar tour there over the summer, and let me tell y'all something, man. Y'all sleeping on Madrid. Madrid, in some ways, is better than Barcelona in terms of nightlife. And it's only because it feels like a true, authentic experience. Like you feel like you're in Spain. When you go to Barcelona, it feels like you're kind of in the Miami of Europe. Because when you go to Barcelona and you party over there and you go to the bars, you're encountering a lot of people from all around. And that's a good and a bad thing. It's good and bad, right? It's good because you're encountering a lot of different people from all around the world in Barcelona. All right, so it's good because you're encountering a lot of different people. You're getting to meet a lot of different type of people, right? But it's bad because you don't get that true Spanish authentic experience unless you go into the locals area. But in Madrid, from my experience, we met a lot of Spanish people. A lot of Spanish people went to these spots. We're amongst Spanish people. We felt like locals almost. It's almost like we got the true authentic Spanish experience, a true authentic Spanish clubbing experience. And that's what you get in Madrid. So every single bar we went to was different from the next. It was awesome. It wasn't like that many tourists there, so no asshole tourists. So we went to this one spot called it was literally it's a theme bar. So every year they have a different theme. So this year they had a Bollywood theme. So for any of you guys that don't know what Bollywood is, kind of like an Indian theme. Trying to realize what the hell. Then I'm trying to think about what the name of this bar was. But they had like I have a video about it, guys. Hold on. Let me go on my YouTube real quick, guys. Let me go on my YouTube. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Hold on. Because we're just going to be doing one more city after this. So I might as well show you guys what I'm talking about. Where is it? Okay, this is Istanbul. This is this is Madrid. Let's go on to this one real quick. All right, so let me show you. Because now we have a little bit of time, so we're just gonna do one more city and that's it. Then we're done. I'm not gonna do all 5 of them like I originally planned. It's way too much. Let me share my screen with you guys real quick. We're here in Madrid. I might just refer to this when it comes to Madrid. All right, so this bar right here, guys. Pressing a button and the cigarette comes out. So this bar right here is, well, you're only seeing the cigarette and vape machines, which is in a lot of bars over there. They got vapes. What is it? The cigarettes. Does it got some cameras? So, hold on, what the fuck? So this bar right here is like a rock and roll theme bar. So I couldn't play. You can't hear what the guy's singing or what they're playing because copyright issues. So I had to play like a regular non-copyrighted music. That way I didn't get in trouble. But this is a rock and roll bar out there in Madrid. All right. So this next bar is a speakeasy bar. So you start off in this little area over here. You get a drink, and then you go into the bar itself. Right. All right, you guys see that? This is the one I'm talking about. It's a Bollywood theme. You have like a dragon or a snake or whatever that is. It's really cool. It has to be one of the most coolest bars I've ever been to. Everything is themed up. You get these cool drinks. My girl got the elephant. I got the dragon. So hold up, let me show you guys. So after a while, you start to see them like have smoke coming out of it, and the drinks are actually pretty good. They fucked me up. I ain't gonna lie, they fucked me up. What'd I do? Whatever. So So this is the next bar. This place was insane. You have these like sexy bottle girls. So this was like a club. And then you have these sexy like bottle girls that do these cool little things with these flares. Where they start dancing and shit. Girl dancing. And that was our little experience there clubbing. But yeah, Madrid has a lot of diversity, a lot of cool things. They're big into EDM. If you're into Spanish music, they got that too. You're big to Afro beats, they got Afro beats too. Whatever you want, they got that there. And so Madrid, don't sleep on Madrid when it comes to nightlife. Okay, so of course, and this is something I didn't get to experience in Madrid. I experienced it in Barcelona and in Seville. But supposedly, from what I hear, this is why I put it in quotations, because I didn't get to experience it myself. But from what I hear from articles online, and of course what I hear from locals and people, is that Madrid got the best flamenco in the country. Now, for those of you who don't know what flamenco is a gypsy dance where people are, you know what they got, like they be stepping on the floor, like they're doing these dance floors and shit on the floor. Let me hold up. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, let me see where. So this was me in Barcelona, and this is Against All Odds, episode 6. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know what flamenco is. All right, so this is flamenco. So a lot of the noises come from the guitar. There's, clapping, them stomping on the floor. This girl is very skilled, but this other one impressed me a lot. She had this big ass long dress. You see how long that is? And she's over here dancing with. I felt like I was so scared for this girl. I was like, what if she trips and busts her ass? And I was right in front of her too. Like where I was sitting at was right in front of her. To the point where like every time she would like do something and turn around, sometimes the dress would hit me right in the face. That's how close I was. And then this guy right here was really skilled as well. So that's what flamenco is, guys. That's what flamenco is. So supposedly Madrid got the best flamenco in Spain, and supposedly it's because they get the highest salary in Madrid, which makes sense mathematically. It means the capital of Madrid, the capital of Spain. You would think that in the capital of Spain was where the most money is at. So that's what their thing is. That the people from Seville, where it originated from, it's a gypsy dance from Seville, originated in Seville, and a lot of these people from Seville, Barcelona, around the country, they flock to Madrid and they dance in Madrid because that's where the most money is at in that business, which is why they supposedly, quotation marks, I could be wrong, they have the best flamenco in Spain. All right. So, yeah, they supposedly have that. So, you guys can look it out for yourself. You guys can look it up. You guys can go. Let me know if that's true or not. I didn't get to go. Maybe the next time I go to Madrid, I'm going to check it out. Because I went to see flamenco in Seville and in Barcelona. I haven't done Madrid yet. So if you guys can check that out for me and let me know in the comment section, that'll definitely be awesome. Okay, so those are some pros of Madrid. Let's go over the places to visit. So Plaza Mayor is what I was telling you guys about. It's the biggest plaza in Madrid, center of the city. Check that out. A lot of cool shops. One piece of advice I will give you guys for Plaza Mayor is Plaza Mayor is the type of place you go to, you look at, you chill for a bit, and you leave. It's not the type of place where you go into the restaurants. So there's a lot of restaurants in that plaza. I recommend for you guys not to do it because the food isn't always the best. And on top of that, it's very pricey because it's tourist prices because everyone goes there. So you're best off walking down the block and going somewhere else for tacos or something, or sangria or paella or tapas, and going there and it'll be half the price. You're best off doing that than being in Plaza Mayor itself because it'll be more expensive. It'll be double, triple the price. All right. What I do recommend that you guys have not necessarily in the plaza itself, but a little bit out of the plaza, it's called Chocolateria Sanguines. Okay, so Chocolateria Sanguinis is where they get the churros, right? The long churros, and I think it's cinnamon, sprinkled with cinnamon. These fried cinnamon sticks, something like that. That's how I would describe it. And you get to dip it in chocolate and you eat it. So that's very popular in Madrid. Madrid has the best churros, right? Even though there's one spot Seville had better ones, but overall, Madrid got the best churros. And Chocolateria Sanguinis is known for this. They're all over TikTok. It's very popular. Check it out. It's a cool spot. In fact, you know what? Let me show you guys Chocolateria. Because we have a little bit more time to work with. Sanguinis. Because I'm only going to go over one more city and then we're done. Oh my god, hold up. So this is the spot I'm talking to you guys about. Share my screen. Man, I hate these ads. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, guys. All right, so this is it right here. So this is, you have these churros, you dip it in the chocolate. This is what people do. That's how it looks like from the inside. Yeah, so guys, check that out if you're by Plaza Mayor. So it's a little off of Plaza Mayor. It's not that far from Plaza Mayor. It's right there, actually. So check that spot out. It's not expensive at all. The churros are like a couple bucks with the chocolate. You're spending probably like 10 euros for a bunch of churros and thing, maybe less depending. But yeah, it's make sure you have a drink too. Your mouth can get a little bit dry. But yeah, you have Plaza Mayor, Puerta del Sol, which is the center of the city. Actually, Puerta del Sol is kind of like a lot of big buildings, all that, like cool little buildings and stuff. They have like a statue with a bear and a tree, and that's located in Puerta del Sol. That's a big meetup spot in Madrid. So yeah, Puerta del Sol, which is the center of the city, a lot of clubs and stuff and bars that come off of Puerta del Sol. Hotel Rui, which is what I was going over with you guys. It's that rooftop bar with the glass floors, and you can see all of the city. Definitely recommend that. Chocolateria de Sanguinis is what I went over with the churros. Of course, guys, if you're a football fan, it don't matter what it could be even Barcelona. You might be a fan of Barcelona, but definitely visit Estadio Santiago Bernabeu. Okay, the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Visit it. Do a tour. I did a tour. You can check that out in Against All Odds episode 7. Yeah, episode 7. Check that out in Against All Odds episode 7, Madrid. I did literally a tour there. Now, it's not as good as actually doing it. And at the time that I went, guys, the stadium wasn't finished yet. It was still being renovated, right? So they're doing construction within the stadium at the time that I went. So it was the dirt and construction shit. So I didn't really get the full experience. But now that the stadium is basically finished, you know, from the interior and the exterior, I definitely recommend you guys check it out now. Because it definitely is it's the biggest and best stadium in all of football, guys. It's home to the biggest club in football. All right, so Retiro Park is kind of like, you have to think of it almost like and I've only seen Retiro Park from the outside, guys. I haven't really gone into Retiro Park, but from what I hear from people and what I've seen from the outside, it looks beautiful. They have like these boats and stuff, rowboats where you guys can row and shit. It's really nice. They have like a glass house area, like a glass area where you guys can go into. It's really nice. But I definitely recommend Retiro Park. It's a kind of like a getaway away from the city, from the hustle bustle. So it's kind of like Central Park almost. And then Gran Via is kind of like, it's kind of reminiscent of New York. It kind of reminds me of New York. So when you go in it, you can see all these big buildings, sophisticated buildings, bars, restaurants, a bunch of different things right next to one another. It gives me New York vibes. Rooftop bars everywhere. So if you want like, you know, most activity, you know, a lot of different shit, New York style type of stuff, Gran Via is the place to go. A lot of buildings, places, and businesses and stuff in Gran Via. So it's very, in fact, the picture itself that you guys are looking at is Gran Via. That's Gran Via. Okay. So that's Madrid, guys. Madrid, fantastic city. Doesn't get the credit it deserves. Probably one of the most underrated places. I know people underrated. What do you mean? It's underrated, bro. When people think about Spain, when they talk about Spain, Barcelona, Ibiza, Mallorca, Seville. Oh, Madrid was cool, but it was boring. They always say that it's boring, but it's not. It is what you make it. Madrid's one of those cities where it is what you make it. If you go out there and you actually do your research and you go out there and you look for things and you get to know locals, you know, and I know a lot of people are going to say, why do I have to do all that to have a good time? Madrid is just one of those cities, guys. It's just one of those cities where you have to know what you're doing, right? In order to really truly see what the city is capable of and what it you know, you can do, right? It's not like Barcelona where you walk down the block and there's a party down the block. You know, it's different. It's different. All right, so that's Madrid. 3, Roma, okay? The Eternal City, I believe they call it. So the capital of Italy has to be the most historic place, one of the most historic, in fact, might be the most historic, who knows, in the entire planet. Italians and the people of Rome pride themselves on the history and try to preserve everything to have it look like it was in the ancient times. And it's almost like you walk back in time. So here's the thing about Rome. This is one thing about Italians, specifically Romans, people that live in Rome, is that they like to keep things the way it was for the most part. They try to preserve everything, right? So at some points, it feels like you're walking back in time because some things haven't been renovated or changed or updated in years, maybe decades, if ever, right? Everything's a kind of old school. Like Madrid is like a nice balance. Even New York City, they're nice balances of history and modern shit. You know what I mean? Modern buildings, modern technology, all that. But Rome is kind of like, nope, we're old school, bro. We're keeping it old school. Italians, for the most part, from what I know of, are very old school. They like keeping it the way it is. We're not going to change it. No. But we're going to try our hardest to keep it the way it is, you know? And that's the way it is. That's the way it is in Rome. It's like you go in there and there's old ass buildings from decades and centuries ago, and you're having lunch in the place where Julius Caesar had fucking lunch at, and fucking in the ancient times and shit. It's that type of city where it's like everything is so ancient, you know. Everything. They love old school shit in Rome, you know. Anywhere you go out there. But Rome is definitely one of those must-see cities. It's not everyone's cup of tea. We're gonna get to the cons later, but it's one of those must-see cities. Every time someone goes to Italy, I recommend Rome. I know everyone loves Milan and Tuscany, and Florence is a big one. Venice. Not so many people go to Naples because Naples is considered the dangerous or the hood of Italy. In fact, Italy is a strange country because, and I mean that, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just more like northern Italy is kind of like where all the bougie people are at, and then southern Italy is kind of like the northerners view southerners as poor. Like there's a divide. It feels like two different countries in Italy. You know, you guys can even search it up, but like a lot of southerners don't like northerners and northerners don't like southerners. It's kind of like they're two different type of people almost. Same country, just two different type of. And Rome happens to be in southern Italy. So it's not that far from Naples. It's not that far from the Amalfi Coast, which we will talk about in the future. But Rome is a good base city to be in. Is one of those cities you definitely want to visit when you're in Italy. At least once, guys. Because Rome does have something there for everybody. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. It wasn't my cup of tea entirely. But there were a lot of good things to where, it made me be like, hey, man, this is definitely a place that people have to visit. It's definitely a great place to visit. So let's go over a couple of the bad things here. All right, so it can be dirty, a lot of graffiti. So one thing that I didn't like about Rome was how there's an obsession over there with graffiti. It's like you can't go one block without seeing a bunch of graffiti on beautiful buildings. Like Rome isn't an ugly looking. It's a beautiful city, beautiful historic old school city. Brick roads, beautiful monuments all over the place. The problem is they haven't maintained it well enough, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. But I don't like going down a block and all you see is graffiti everywhere. I thought New York was, and New York, there's graffiti, but not that much graffiti, right? New York is known for a lot of graffiti art. But in Italy, in Rome, it's ridiculous with the graffiti. Every building got graffiti on it. I'm like, what is going on here, guys? There needs to be an anti-graffiti law. There needs to be an area in Rome where people are allowed to do graffiti, right? Like art, right? Like some cities do that. Like they have an area of the city where, okay, guys, you can do graffiti here. But there needs to be a law in Rome that's like, hey guys, no graffiti, or there's going to be a fine. There's going to be some sort of jail time, some type of penalty, because they're ruining a very beautiful city. And if you guys, maybe if you check out my Against All Odds episode on Rome, which is, I believe, is episode 4 on Rome, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Every block, beautiful buildings, graffiti all over the place, all over the place. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm surprised the Coliseum don't got graffiti on it. That would have been some fucked up shit. But every single place got graffiti, and it pissed me off. The trash, there's trash everywhere. It can be a little bit of a dirty city, just like any other major city. New York City is the same way, Paris to an extent, but the graffiti bothered me. It really did bother me about it, Rome specifically. I didn't know it was that bad with the graffiti, but they need to get away with that because it's a beautiful city, but the graffiti is an issue. Maybe you guys agree. If you agree with me, put it in the comment section. If you think I'm overreacting, put it in the comment section. All right, so it can be dirty graffiti. All right, it's too old school for some people. So it's old school, guys. They're very old school. It's like, no, we're not going to put no modern shit up. Like, I didn't really see any modern buildings in Rome. I feel like everything was old school and shit that was made centuries ago. You know what I mean? That they might have updated a little bit to be more modern. But for the most part, everything is old school as hell. Like, you're walking in history over there. You're sleeping in a fucking apartment, most likely, that was made years ago. Everything is so historic, and in a way that's cool, but in a way it's kind of like, bro, there needs to be some type of balance. Like I said before, like other cities, you know, like Istanbul, for example, right? Istanbul is a very historic city, right? It was the capital of one of the biggest empires known to mankind, just like Rome was, right? So the Romans. And in Turkey, in Istanbul, it was the Ottoman Empire, right? So, but in Turkey, in Istanbul, it has the balance of history and modern shit, modernism, whatever you want to call it, right? It has modern buildings, modern shit, man. But Rome isn't like that. Everything's kind of old school, right? And that might bother a couple people, you know, especially like if you like modern shit. Rome isn't going to be the city for you. It's very old school. People act old school out there. Everything's old school. So letting you guys know, you know, it's that type of city, right? They don't believe in making anything more modern, or no, it's not like that in Rome. Everything's like you're going back in time over there. Some places don't even got AC. I remember there was this one spot, this one restaurant we went to, didn't even have AC. It had like a portable AC. They had this portable AC that was blowing air because they didn't have AC or anything installed. It was a very old school, guys. It's one of those cities where it's like, has there been any work done to this city in a while? Like, it's old. What's going on? So yeah, it's old school. Nightlife isn't as prevalent as other cities. So that's another thing is when I was in Rome, and I could be wrong. I'm sure nightlife exists in every big city, right? There's always nightlife. But some cities, you feel it more than others. Like I said before, Barcelona, you're there. You can tell there's some sort of nightlife. Even Istanbul, to an extent, there's some sort of nightlife there. But when you're in Rome, it's kind of like, especially at nighttime, it's kind of like chill compared to other cities. It's actually more chill than Madrid. I felt like there was more action at nighttime in Madrid than what there was in Rome. In Rome, it's kind of like everyone's chill, relaxed. You can kind of hear the crickets. I'm like, where's the parties? It's a Saturday. Where's the party at? Maybe it's the neighborhood I was in. But I feel like nightlife isn't as a big thing compared to other cities. I feel like in Rome, it's more like wine and dine. You know, like wine and dine. You go to a nice restaurant, which is one thing about them. They got the restaurants. So you wine and dine, Coliseum, go home, you know, and that's it, right? It's not like other cities where it's like, yeah, let's go party. Like you can sense there's a party vibe. I didn't get that vibe when I went to Rome. I didn't get the vibe of party city. You know, I got the vibe of let me take my girl out and wine and dine her vibe. You know, that's the vibe I got. You know, so it's not like the party city, even though some Romans claim that, but I might be wrong, guys. Who knows? A lot of tourists. So that's the thing, guys, is good luck trying to get into these tourist spots early. Even if you do get to these tourist spots early, there's still going to be tourists there. Because I know some people wake up 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. to go to the Trevi Fountain to take a picture in front of the Trevi Fountain. Then they get there and they notice there's a bunch of people there, even at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. And that's the type of city Rome is. Rome is one of the most visited cities in the world. So there's always tourists there at all times. Good luck trying to take a picture in the Trevi Fountain, especially if you go there at night. Good luck. I tried taking a picture, bro. It was unbearable. A lot of different people there. I didn't even get to see most of the fountain, bro, because people were covering it. But a lot of stinky people too around there. But yeah, guys, a lot of tourists, which means any tourist spot you go to, there's gonna be a bunch of people, man. Like it's one of those type of cities. It kind of gave me New York vibes in terms of that aspect. Was a bunch of people. All right, guys. So let's go into the pros. Great place for history nerds. So, guys, listen. If you're into history, this is the place for you. There's a bunch of like monuments and places and museums and things for you guys to go to fulfill your historic needs or whatever you want to call it, your history nerd needs. So if you're into history and you know your history and you know about the Roman Empire, this is the place for you. This is definitely the place for you guys. Just going into the Colosseum itself. Not saying it's the greatest thing I've ever done, but going into the Colosseum itself is definitely a experience. Just to see that, man, I could just imagine how that shit looked like back in the day. You know what I mean? Like the amount of stories that I heard about that shit. Where I think one of the emperors around that time, he had like a Navy fleet battle within the Colosseum. So he had a bunch bodies and bodies of water within the Colosseum. There were a bunch of Navy fleets competing against each other, trying to kill each other, right? In that fucking Colosseum. It blew my mind when I went in there and I heard of that. I'm like, what? They put water and had Navy fleets and shit around this shit? How the hell they did that? And just the fact that people got killed in that fucking place for people's entertainment blew my mind. I'm walking in a place where people got killed for people's entertainment. That is insane. But it's that type of place. And sure, it's one half of it is crumbled up and the other one's still standing a little bit, but it's historic, man. It's just one of those things like, wow, man, this was built in the Roman Empire, bro. This is insane. You had emperors up in here. You had people from decades, centuries ago up in here watching people fight. Like, it's insane. And it's definitely one of those things I recommend you guys do in Trevi Fountain. It's so many historic places in Rome that you guys need to check out that will literally make you geek out. It's that type of city. Compared to the other two cities, New York City, which is relatively new compared to the other two cities I just mentioned. Like New York City is kind of like, sure, it has history, but outside of I think everything started with when it comes to New York City, everything started like kind of like in the 1800s, 1900s, the early 1900s. Madrid is much older, right? Europe is much older in terms of history, but Rome is on a different level. Rome is like, we're talking centuries ago, man. Like, this is not New York. New York's new compared to New York's a baby compared to Rome. Rome is like, there's history there. When you're going in there, you're seeing, witnessing history. You know, it's a different type of city, guys. I recommend it for history nerds. Some of the best food on the planet is in Rome. That's true. I went on a food tour. If you don't believe me, go on a food tour. Go on a food tour in Rome and come back to me. Come back to this video. Comment it in the comment section. I want you guys to tell me your opinion. But when I went on a food tour, we had like 5 different places we went to. The first spot, and this is all in my vlog, by the way, guys. So episode 4 of Against All Odds, check it out. You guys can see it for yourself. But when I went out there, we started off with an appetizer spot. So they had like mozzarella and salami or whatever type of meat that was. There's nice garlic bread and olive oil all over the place, and fresh tomatoes and a bunch of different things. Fantastic way to begin, right? Then we went to the next spot, which was a pizzeria spot, which is called Da Vinci's. It's not Da Vinci's. What is it called? But it's a pizza spot, but it's different because it's not like big pizza. It's kind of like home, like a personal pizza. So it's a smaller pizza for one person. And they make a bunch of different type of pizzas. I think the reason why I call it Da Vinci's is because they consider it in Rome. They call it the Da Vinci's of pizza. So it is on TikTok. I did see a video of it on TikTok, but I forgot the name of the place. But it's world famous. It was dope. The pizza was great. They have all different types of pizza, personal pizzas. Great. That's another spot we went to. Then the third spot we went to was it was this spot where they have these like, it's hard to describe. It's like this sandwich looking thing, and they stuff things into it, and you eat that. That was dope too. I forgot what it was called. The fourth spot we went to was a pasta place. So we had pasta. Of course, you can't go wrong pasta in Rome. Anywhere you go to in Rome with pasta, you can't go wrong for the most part. They're really good at food out there. And then the fifth spot was a dessert spot. So we had like tiramisu, cannoli, stuff like that, Italian desserts. But guys, listen, food tour in Italy, in Rome specifically, it won't let you down, man. Trust me. Food, some of the food there you'll have is some of the best in the world. Some of the best, top 3, top 2, maybe 1 in the world. Trust me on that one. Another thing that I enjoyed about Rome was the friendly and kind people. Now, sure, we did meet not a bunch, but some assholes, just like any other big city in the world. But compared to other big cities, we met so many hospitable and nice people out there. Like, they will literally give you the shirt off their back. Like, they'll literally, make you feel comfortable. We didn't sense any type of language barrier for the most part. This was one guy that went kind of was a bit of an asshole. We had a little bit of a language barrier issue with. But for the most part, everyone knew English out there. You would go into a shop, they knew English. Anywhere you went to, they knew English. Because it's a big tourist area, right? Big tourist city. Everyone knows English. You don't even have to know Italian. The only thing I knew in Italian was ciao. That's all I said was ciao and ciao. Ciao, hello, ciao, bye. Right? That's the only thing I knew how to say in Italian. Ciao, what else I knew? I forgot how they say good day, have good morning in Italian. But that's the only thing I knew how to say, and that's the only thing I had to say. Because I like introducing myself in the language. And then I'll tell them, hey, you speak English or da-da-da. So I think it's appropriate to do it that way. I think it's inappropriate to go into a foreign country and just go off the rip speaking English. I think it's inappropriate. I think the appropriate way, to go into a country, you go into France, you say bonjour, bonsoir, depending on the time of the day. You go to Portugal, I just learned this recently, bom dia, oi, bom dia. You go to España, to Spain, hola, buenos dia, right? You go anywhere in the world, you should be speaking. In Turkey, merhaba, right? Hello, merhaba. You should be speaking in that language and then converting it to English afterwards. Ease them into it. But yeah, no language barrier. Everyone's super cool. The service there, I will say, is the best service I've ever had in my life. In terms of restaurant service, best service. These motherfuckers, they got a whole team there, right? They greet you. They sit you down. What do you want? What do you want to order? And they're charismatic about it. Not only are they skilled when it comes to serving? These motherfuckers be having hella plates on their shit with a whole tux and everything. And these motherfuckers are dressed up. They got a suit, tie, everything on some Godfather shit, serving you with hella plates on their shit like nothing. Not even breaking a sweat, right? They drop this shit down in a sophisticated manner. They start talking to you. They have this charismatic personality to them where they're so likable, where you can't really hate the person because they're so damn charismatic and nice and friendly. I've never experienced something like that in my life. In America, anywhere else in the world, they're so charming and so welcoming, especially to Americans. A lot of people don't like Americans. You go some places in the world and they hate Americans. They get away from me. Don't talk to me, But that wasn't the case when we went to Rome, to Italy. I feel like everyone's so nice and charming and cool, and best service I ever received, man. These people are so knowledgeable about what it is that they're serving you. You won't need to know any of the ingredients or how they make it. They'll go over it with you like detail by detail. Phenomenal. They'll let you taste wine and shit for free, like ridiculous. They'll make you a free drink at the end of this one guy. We went to this one spot in Rome, and he made us a what is it called? It's like a dessert martini. So it was like a mocha martini. It was chocolate. It's a famous drink out in Rome. If you guys are from Rome or been to Rome and you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comment section. But they make this it's called the M Martini. Let me search it up. The M Martini. Let me see if I can search it up for you guys. Oh, you know what? I can't even see it here. It's called, I think it's the M Martini. M as in man martini. I don't know. I don't see anything there, but I think it was the M martini. So it was chocolate. It was this nice chocolate martini. It has alcohol in it. It's like a nice dessert drink that they have after their meal. That is dope. I liked it. But I recommend trying that out. But they'll have things like that where they have free complimentary drinks, free bread, free. Like they're so nice out there in Rome, man. When it comes to food and service, that's really their speciality in Rome is food and service, man. Just anything in general. They're so good. Italians are really good at making you feel at home. They're so good at that compared to anyone else in the world that I've met. Almost everyone speaks English or knows a little English. So I kind of went over that one over there. But it's one of those type of cities, guys, you don't even need to know Italian. Sure, it would be nice to know Italian, just like any other country. It would be nice to know the language of that country. But for the most part, guys, you're in good hands in Rome. People, it is what it is. They're so friendly and nice, and you're not gonna really encounter too many problems with language barrier over there. All right, so places to visit, guys, and there's a ton, but I just named a few. Is the Trevi Fountain. So, of course, that's the big fountain where people drop the coins and all that. Big one, touristy spot, go there. The Colosseum, the biggest spot in all of Rome. You need to check it out. It's not that expensive either. The Colosseum, check it out, guys. The Vatican. So, out of all the museums I've been to, I think the top two museums I've ever visited in my life were in no order whatsoever. I don't even know where to order them. Was the Vatican and the Louvre. Those are the top two museums I've ever visited in my life. I don't know. I think in some ways I like one more than the other. In some ways, like the Louvre, I thought was more, it had the perfect balance. Well, it had the Mona Lisa, first of all. It had a lot of different things, cool art, shit. I think the Louvre might have been bigger. The Vatican was like a straight shot of beautiful, like just work of art, man. I wish I could show you guys. In fact, if you check out my Against All Odds episode 4, you're able to see the Vatican from the inside. But the Vatican, phenomenal. I still have my ticket from the Vatican, Museo Vatican, Vaticini. I think it's called Museo Vaticini. I still got my ticket. That was the ticket that I got from the Vatican. I still got it on my phone. So if you guys ever wondered, like, what is that thing in the back of Jamie's phone? Why does he have that there? Is he religious? No, it's just the Vatican ticket that I got from being there. I love the Vatican that much. I was like, I'm keeping this ticket. It was a dope experience, guys. It was great. Went in there cheap. You see all this beautiful art, work, and everything is a work of art in that freaking spot, man. Check it out. And on top of that, the Vatican City is another place. There's a lot of cool spot in there. And I didn't know this until I went into Rome. But the Vatican City, technically, it's its own country. So the Vatican City is considered its own country. It's not even technically a part of Rome, even though it is technically in Rome on the map. But it's considered its own city. So I think this is where the Pope is at and all those religious people and all that. So the Vatican City. So the Vatican City is its own country apart from Rome, even though it's technically a part of Rome. But check out the Vatican City. It's another dope place to visit within Rome, or country to visit, or city, whatever. I don't even know. I think, hold up a second. The Vatican City. Is it a country? Hold on. Let me see. Vatican City. It says country in Europe. The Vatican City state is a landlocked independent country, city-state, microstate, and enclave within Rome, Italy. So it says here the home, a city-state, and the smallest country in the world. So it is a country. So yeah, I'm looking at it over here. So let me show you guys real quick. Actually, real quick. I'm almost done with this presentation. So you guys look at it. It says here, this is the Vatican. It's considered the smallest country. So it says here, country in Europe. And then you look at, well, I know Wikipedia isn't the most credible source, but it says here, Vatican City is a landlocked independent country, city-state, microstate within Rome, Italy. And I think locals told us over there that it is its own country. It's not a part of Rome, technically. All right, so despite its incredible small nature, the Vatican is indeed a city-state and the smallest country in the world. That's crazy. But yeah, That's the Vatican City. So I definitely recommend visiting the Vatican City, the smallest country in the world. All right. So there's that. All right. And there's a ton of other things you could see within Rome itself. Okay. So hold on one second, guys. I want to go through this. I don't want to spoil the other slides that I had, but for time's sake, guys, it's 2 hours. We're at the 2 hour mark. I'm not going to continue with this. I'm going to end it off right here, guys. But this is my my last slide. So thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to click on the like button, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more daily content. Follow me on IG, jamie.underwoods11. Follow me on TikTok, jamiewoods11. Email me at jamie.woods11@gmail.com. Of course, if you guys need any consultation or if there's any video topics that you want me to do, send it over to me. All right, so the last thing, guys, I'm going to end it off with a quote. So there's this quote I saw that really I really resonated with and I really liked. And that is, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. And that is so true, because a lot of people don't view traveling as a necessity. They view it as kind of like, oh yeah, a lot of people talk shit about traveling. They always say, oh, travel isn't necessary. You don't need to travel. You just go to New York City or go anywhere local nearby, whatever. Why do I need to go to Rome when I can see a picture or a video of it on YouTube? It's not the same. Trust me. It's not the same like going to a completely different country, experiencing different cultures firsthand, learning new cultures, learning new languages, trying new food. It's not the same. All right. So try it out before you judge it. Try out traveling before you judge it. Traveling has made me the man that I am today. I know that sounds crazy to some people. What do you mean traveling? It has. It's opened my mind. It's expanded my horizons. There's so many things I didn't even think of back then. And that's because of traveling. It's made me a more well-rounded person, more complete person, more open-minded person. Because before this, I didn't know much about how the world worked or how some countries work or cultures or religions or ethnicities. But because of traveling, it's made me more open-minded to things. It's made me more mature and more knowledgeable about things. It's good to know and understand and be educated on other cultures, and you connect to more people that way. You know how many people get surprised when I play Moroccan music in my car, when I play Turkish music in my car, or when I play music straight out of Spain or any country. You know, I connect to so many different people that way. It's like, wow, this guy from America knows a little bit of Russian. This guy from America knows that Belarus exists. This guy in America has been to Turkey. What? You need a visa to go to Turkey. You know, like, it's things like that, guys. It expands your horizons. It makes you more knowledgeable, more well-rounded, more educated, right? More intelligent. And on top of that, it's great. It's so exhilarating to be able to be in a different country and experience something new that you totally have never experienced before. You know, if you guys stay in your city, if you guys stay in your state, in your region, after some amount of time, you're gonna outgrow it. You may not realize it may not hit you, but you're going to outgrow that area, right? You're going to outgrow it. There's not much you're going to be able to learn where you're at because you already did it and done it all already. But when you're going to a different city, a different state, a different side of the country, a different country, it's more things to see, more things to learn that you never even saw before. It forces you to get out of your comfort zone and do something different. And that's why traveling is so important and so great, because it forces you to get outside your comfort zone. And that's what we need to do in anything in life, career, marriage, whatever. You need to get outside your comfort zone sometimes in order to succeed. And traveling is a good way of doing that. Because if you can travel to Turkey, whatever country, where the culture is completely different, and you adjust and adapt, you can do anything in this world. You're like, man, I adjusted and adapted, you know, living in a completely different country, being in a different country, so I could do anything in this world. I could become a star. I could own a business. I could do this. I could do that. It forces you to get outside your comfort zone, and that translates to other aspects of your life. So, guys, stop reading one page. There's tons of other pages that need to be written and read. Start reading more pages. Start creating new chapters of your life. Start expanding your horizons. That's the only way you're going to get better in life, guys. And traveling is a part of that, man. Travel. You only get one life. You might as well see the world while you're at it. Why stay in your state or your city for your entire life? That's boring. We only live one life, guys. All right. But guys, listen, thank you so much. This is just volume 1. I think I might do volume 2 next week just to get the other cities out the way. I couldn't get them done for time's sake or else we'd be here for a third hour. I don't think that's good. But I did 3 cities. I think going forward, in terms of this series, I might just do 3 cities at a time. All right. But guys, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. See y'all next week. Let's get it, baby. Let's go. Travel.